Brothers and sisters, thank you. Inshallah, since we have the place until 2, we've accomplished our goal. We hope that you stay with us because AMP has some remarks and we want you here, inshallah. We also want to thank our friends from the Interfaith community and people of conscience, both individuals and groups, and our Jewish friends from the Notori Kartai, all of those who have come out. We appreciate your support. We know that you do it also out of love and you do it out of justice, because the issue is based on justice and Muslims would stand for the same principles of justice. So please give us a few minutes, inshallah. We'll have some remarks from the American Muslims for Palestine. We have this area until 2:00 p.m. You've been great, mashallah. We accomplished our goal, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept the prayer. Sister Kristen Shremsky from AMP, who is the communications director for AMP, will be making the beginning remarks.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. On behalf of the American Muslims for Palestine, we thank each and every one of you for making this effort on behalf of Al-Aqsa and coming out in this terrible, terrible weather. I think we've had a really, really good showing, mashallah, and we're very, very excited that you were able to come and participate and show our solidarity with the Palestinians in Jerusalem. So I'm going to read very quickly some statements from AMP and then introduce one or two more guests, and then we will be able to conclude. Okay, so we all know what's happening in Jerusalem right now, in Al-Quds. Palestinians are being restricted from their place of worship yet again. Men younger than 50 are praying still outside the gates. Yesterday, in the beginning of the day, as the world was celebrating because it seemed as if Israel was taking down the surveillance cameras and the checkpoints and the metal detectors, there were so many other things going on that we need to remember that Israel's occupation of Palestine is still firmly in place. Israel's occupation of Palestine is still firmly in place. And consider what was going on this week while we were all paying attention to the crisis at Al-Aqsa. On Tuesday, the Likud party, which is the party of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, voted to oppose any notion of a Palestinian state whatsoever. The Israeli Knesset is debating a bill that would redraw the boundaries of Jerusalem, thereby disenfranchising Palestinian neighborhoods. So in other words, Palestinian neighborhoods would no longer be part of Jerusalem, although they would still be under Israeli control. They also started to debate a measure that would make it nearly impossible for any Israeli Prime Minister to concede East Jerusalem to the Palestinians in any future negotiated peace deal. All of these things are happening at the same time that our Al-Aqsa is under attack. And it's happening, and there was an article in Haaretz that said that Netanyahu knows that he can get away with things like this because our administration here is in such utter chaos that they know there won't be a strong response from the United States. So the responsibility is upon us, brothers and sisters, to continue to bring pressure to bear on our elected officials and on the State Department. We have to use the civic engagement process because it really works, and we put pressure on them and tell them that the occupation has to end, that the status quo of Jerusalem has to remain sacrosanct, that Palestinian sovereignty over Al-Aqsa is immutable. The heinous acts by Israel confirm yet again that the noble sanctuary is not safe as long as the occupation continues to exist. AMP commends the Samud, or the patience of the Palestinians in Jerusalem who protested peacefully for more than 2 weeks by refusing to pass through the metal detectors. While it's good that these obstacles appear to have been removed, we really do remind everyone that the reality on the ground has not changed. East Jerusalem and Palestinian land is still under Israeli occupation. This is proof that Israel is no democracy. What kind of democracy allows military forces to storm a place of worship and shoot worshipers with rubber-tipped bullets, injuring so many? What kind of democracy redraws the city's boundaries in order to remove certain individuals of certain ethnic heritage? This is in keeping, this policy, by the way, is in keeping with Jerusalem municipality's master plan that would allow for the residents of Jerusalem to be 70% Jewish and 30% Palestinian. And so redrawing the boundaries helps them keep that very racist ratio in place. We had members of the Knesset, while they were debating this bill, here are two quotes I'd like to share with you. One, member of the Knesset, Mickey Rosenthal, said, "I have a great love for Jerusalem, but when we dreamed of Jerusalem, we didn't dream of a Sheikh Jarrah, which is a Palestinian neighborhood." And Michal Biran, also of the Knesset, said, "People can't imagine that there could ever be an Arab mayor of Jerusalem." What kind of democracy allows for this type of racism to be part of its public policy? So for these reasons, we're calling upon all of you to redouble your efforts and get your friends and family involved. Contact your members of Congress. Contact the State Department. Tell them that the occupation has to end. Tell them that we need to protect Al-Aqsa. Now you can get everything that you need, including how to contact your elected officials, at our website if you go to ampalestine.org. We have a Jerusalem page which is under projects. You will find all of these things. Under action alerts, we have the information to contact your elected officials. So once again, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless each and every one of you for coming out. And I would like now to bring to the microphone our dear brother Nihad Awad, who's going to make a few comments. Oh, our website, ampalestine.org. So it stands for American Muslims for Palestine. So ampalestine.org.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be to you. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends of peace, friends of justice, thank you so much for coming. And we all thank AMP and AMP leadership for planning and being determined to hold this rally in front of the Israeli embassy. A prayer, Jum'ah or Friday prayer, in accordance with our faith and also in defiance of the Israeli brutal practices to suppress religious freedom in Jerusalem and in Palestine. Ladies and gentlemen, the issue of Jerusalem and freedom of religion in Jerusalem, in Al-Aqsa, is not a Palestinian issue. It is not an Arab issue. It is not a Middle Eastern issue. It is a universal issue, but it is also an American issue. This country, the United States, was founded on religious liberty and religious freedom. What Israel has been doing for so many years, and especially these days, suppressing religious freedom, preventing people from praying, preventing men under the age of 50 from going to Jerusalem to pray to God, is a violation of universal and international laws, but also it is in violation of principles. It is in violation of our values as Americans. It is an American issue because Israel is using weapons. Israeli police officers are using uniforms and bullets to suppress the Palestinian people. So they're doing it in our name. The American taxpayers' money is being used to suppress religious freedom abroad. And that's why every American should be worried and concerned about these violations of the rights of the Palestinian people to express their religious freedom. And we call on the Trump administration, which is busy with its scandals over Russia and other things, to pay attention to the image and interests and values of America abroad. Israel is tarnishing our image, brothers and sisters, my fellow Americans. You all have to defend this freedom freedom of religion by pushing this administration to behave like an American administration that represents all Americans and values that we were founded on as a nation. Secondly, we would like all of you to contact your elected officials, your members of Congress. They should hear from you. Don't take it for granted that they know. They need to hear from you. And the issue of Palestine is an issue of justice. We all care about freedom of all people. But to prevent people from going to Al-Aqsa Mosque, shutting down Al-Aqsa Mosque is a red line for all people who care about faith. And I also call and thank our members of the Jewish community who are here with us to tell the Israeli embassy and their representatives they don't speak for all Jews around the world. The Jewish values and Islamic values and Christian values protect religious freedom. And we call on more Jewish Americans to speak up and speak out against the violations of freedom and democratic values under the Israeli occupation. We are proud of what they do now, our fellow Jewish Americans, but we need more voices. We need this embassy to realize that it is representing an apartheid state, and that has to end. And we would like them to behave like a democratic state, which they are not. So thank you so much for risking the rain, for risking being wet, because Muslims and Christians in Jerusalem and Jewish Israelis who protest the Israeli practices, they risk their lives every day. So us being wet in this rain is just a small show of support and thank you to our people in Palestine. May Allah bless you. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Also, I want to direct you to our website, ampalestine.org. ampalestine.org. If you want to know more about the struggle in Palestine, about the just cause of the Palestinian people, you go to our website. If you want to know what can you do here in the United States, how can you be effective, how can you have an impact, how can you have a voice, go to our website. It will guide you through a process to make you, inshallah Rabbil Alameen, very effective here. I want to stress what my dear brother Nihad just said. We're not conflating between Judaism and Zionism. We see Zionism as a distortion of Judaism. It is not a religious war for us. It is not. It is them who are trying, Zionists who are trying to make this a religious war. But we are here to say, no, it is not. We hold dearly all the values of religious freedom. We believe in everyone's right to practice the way they believe and they wish. So that's our struggle. Zionism is a distortion, and we're not going to conflate between the two. Again, go to our website. If you want to have a voice here, you want to have an impact here, go to this website. You have to express your presence. You have to express that you have a right in this country. No one will come and give you your rights. You have to demand them. You have to live them. You have to implement them. This is America. We're not in Israel. Israel can suppress. No one can suppress us here. We have a constitution. We are protected. Even if we have an administration that is deviating from our national interests as a country, it doesn't mean that speaks for Americans. It doesn't mean that it speaks for America. Who speaks for America are the people of America. And once the people are informed, no American citizen will stand with injustice. We couldn't build a wall here with Mexico, for God's sake. But in Israel, we subsidized the wall that established an apartheid regime against the Palestinian people who are under occupation. It is our choice. And inshallah, we will prevail because we are on the right side of history, inshallah.
I would like very much to bring up a special guest, Mr. Miko Peled, who is a great friend of AMP and the Palestinians.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's really encouraging to see so many people here in the rain. Muslims and Jews and Christians and everybody from different nations here to support this very important cause of solidarity with Palestinians, with Al-Aqsa. And I believe, like Brother Osama was saying, the Israeli embassy here, I'm sure they're recording and they're listening to every word, and I hope they listen over and over again and hear this message of peace and hear this message of a desire for freedom of worship. I am from Jerusalem. I'm an Israeli Jew and I'm from Jerusalem. I still have a house in Jerusalem. I was in Jerusalem a few weeks ago and I'll be there again next month. And every Friday I go to Jerusalem and I see the terrible provocations by the Israeli military. What we've seen over the last few weeks is only an extreme version of what happens every Friday, with hundreds and hundreds of Israeli police and soldiers denying Palestinians the right to worship, harassing them, provoking them, and yet all the Palestinians desire to do is to go and pray. And we mustn't forget that maybe less than 50 miles from Jerusalem, 2 million Palestinians are dying of thirst and dying of heat because Israel will denies them water and denies them electricity, and I'm speaking, of course, about the Gaza Strip. So what we've seen is really did not happen in a vacuum. And the comment that we hear very often in the media is that the Palestinian response has been out of proportion, has been disproportionate. I think anybody who says that has never been to Jerusalem and does not understand Jerusalem. Israeli provocations have been going on for decades. The soldiers, the settlers, the Israeli policies of ethnic cleansing in Jerusalem and other parts of Palestine have been going on for decades. And the Palestinian response has been measured and peaceful and dignified. So once again, I hope the people in that building realize that we will not let them get away with it, that we will keep on it. I hope everybody, like you've heard before, call their members of Congress, call your senators, call your city council members. Tell them they must stop supporting Israel. Tell them they must support the Palestinian cause. They must support the cause of justice and freedom to worship and peace. Thank you very much.
I'm not the one who is controlling the program here.
Yes, Rabbi Felty, yes.
And now to speak is Rabbi David Feldman.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for all of you, for the speakers who spoke so eloquently. It's so important. We are all out here in front of the Israeli embassy here in Washington, D.C. Yes, in this rain weather, because we understand that what is happening in Palestine for decades and what is escalating just now in these days is truly ridiculous. It's truly catastrophic. The catastrophe which is taking place in Palestine is not only a catastrophe for the Palestinian people, for the Muslims. It is a catastrophe for the Jewish people as well. We lived in peace. We lived in peace in Palestine. We lived in peace in so many other Muslim countries. Why? Because we respected each other and we didn't have a goal of oppressing one another. We did live in peace, we can live in peace, and we should live in peace. And how beautiful is this occasion now when we come together to oppose occupation, to oppose crimes, which is not only crimes in international law, this is crimes within Jewish law as well. And we can stand together, Jews, Muslims, and other people. This is a statement that people as people can communicate, can collaborate, can work together, can live in peace. And this is what we should see in the future. We should use the experience we had in the past to see the future that we are approaching to. We should get there close. It is taking that long, it is taking already for decades. It's our obligation, it's our responsibility to stand up and to do all in our ability to stop this. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.